A Pokemon market that's so strong that the average Joe is now completely priced out. Though something has to change and I'm expecting a hefty price drop. Though before we get into this interesting topic, I'm actually gifting this Pidgeot EX special illustration rare from Obsidian Flames to one subscriber. Now to know if you won, if I reply to your comment and I add this Bulbasaur emoji, then congratulations, you've won the card. And of course, I always pin the winning comment once it's been selected, so it's very easy to see. And also, if you're new here, I just want to say hi, I'm Phil. I am a marketing professional who loves Pokemon collecting and investing. Last year, I decided to make this YouTube channel. Definitely feel free to subscribe to stay in the loop for Pokemon collecting and Pokemon investing and market updates. Pokemon cards are becoming completely unattainable for a lot of people, right? And pre-orders are being canceled, stock is selling out, prices for cards are booming, and it's kind of concerning because a change needs to happen. Though I am expecting a very strong market correction to happen, and I'm going to explain why I think that's going to come about. Though before we get into this topic, I just want to let you know that there's been a little bit of a pretty exciting life and business update. No, it's not that I'm in a singlet, because I know everyone gets so excited when I'm in a singlet. It's like finding a shiny Medichan, right? You're not happy that you got the Medichan, but you're happy it's a shiny. It's a good thing to see out in the wild. A man in a singlet enjoying it in his hot Australian home. I'm happy, you're happy, we're all very happy with it. But no, it's not because of that. I've actually just finished building my own Phillips Collectibles website. And yes, it sounds a little bit weird saying my channel name out loud, but you know, like most people, it's been a little bit of a childhood dream to build a business around my passions. And as much as I enjoy what I do for work outside of this channel, truthfully, I am a little bit unfulfilled and I'm kind of hoping to get some more out of life, right? So I'd really love to expand my love for Pokemon into more of a bit of a career and see how that goes. So I'm actually looking at doing some live pack openings on the channel. You can actually purchase some packs from the website to be opened on the scheduled live streams. Honestly, I'm trying to make it just a fun social thing as well. You can come hang out, buy some packs and just chill out in the stream. You know, you can see some of your packs be open live in front of an audience and we can all get hyped together. The first live opening will be on the 26th of January. Though you can see all the details on the website, which you can find in the description of this video. I'd honestly love your support for that. Now, back to the topic at hand, right? As interesting as it is seeing prices explode the way they are, it is getting a little bit cumbersome tracking pre-orders just to open new Pokemon sets. Now, I do think prices will come down, and I want to cover the first reason why, okay? Now, this has a lot to do with Pokemon TCG Pocket. Pokemon TCG Pocket is a very, very interesting thing that's happened. Now, I personally think, and the reason why I think there's going to be quite a heavy pullback in the market is because, like many things, right? When the pandemic came out in 2020, Pokemon didn't anticipate that there would be so many more people coming back into the hobby. And I have a feeling that Pokemon didn't anticipate how many people would transfer into collecting from Pokemon TCG Pocket. And I don't think they anticipated for it to be as well received as it has. Now, this has obviously caused a huge new influx of people to enter the hobby. And of course, what's happened is Pokemon has been a little bit blindsided with the demand, right? Now, I do think the reason why is Pokemon will eventually catch up. Now, we do have one example that's happened of this. In 2021, when the Celebrations UPC came out, they were so hard to find. Scalping was off the charts. It was just incredibly difficult to get the Celebrations UPC, but Pokemon did respond quite quickly with that. And even though the Celebrations UPC issue never really got fixed, so if you didn't get Celebrations, it was a little bit hard to get it, right? But for the Charizard UPC that came out the following year, that was printed so heavily into the ground that literally you could get it wherever you went. And a lot of people who thought it was going to be the exact same thing as the Celebrations UPC got burnt quite quickly because Pokemon, you know, printed it to demand, okay? But now, I think something similar is going to happen right now where Pokemon didn't anticipate it, but once they catch up, you can expect a pretty significant market pullback because a lot of people are buying products, you know, spending huge amounts of money on them, but you know, if there's enough supply in the market, your boxes that you've bought, you know, they're going to be hard to offload when, you know, you can get it below retail price, especially if the supply catches up. Very interesting things. And I think the best way to look at this is through Google Trends. Now, yes, I do show Google Trends a lot. It's because I do work in marketing and it's much easier to just get an overview from this. It's very simple, but usually in life, the simple things are usually what works, right? Now, this is just the search term Pokemon cards on Google Trends. It's a very simple search term, but you can see right here, Pokemon cards, you know, this is in the past 5 years. So this is around that early 2020 period. You can see Pokemon cards. This is where they were searched. They weren't as popular as now, right? But you can see what happened right here in 2021. you can see how heavily Pokemon cards were searched in value, right? But you can see then things kind of calmed down a little bit again. And now where we are right now, you can see Pokemon cards are the most searched in history, and never have Pokemon cards been more searched than they are right now. And of course, that translates to what's happening as well, doesn't it? Because we're in such a high demand period. But then again, Pokemon will catch up to this eventually. Now, another reason why I think that this is going to calm down. Firstly, I do have experience of markets coming down. You know, when you bought vintage cards in 2020 or 2021, they've all kind of really come down in value. There was this huge hype and momentum build. I'm finding a very similar resemblance of what's happening right now with Pokemon and vintage cards of 2020 and 2021. There is a very strong resemblance, right? And that did come down a lot in value. And I do think the same is going to happen, is that there's just so many more people entering the hobby, and Pokemon cannot even meet printing demand, because that's what's happening right now. There's just too much more new fans coming in. So yes, there is scalping. I'm definitely not going to deny that. That is a huge problem right now in the hobby, but I also think that we do have so many more new fans entering, and Pokemon is going to have to meet that demand. Now, when that gets met, we will see a price correction, because, you know, I don't think it's in Pokemon's best interest. Don't forget them as a brand. They really appeal to younger audiences as well. It's not exactly this nice feeling when you go and Pokemon cards are sold out everywhere. I think Pokemon is going to really increase the supply. And when that happens, you got to remember as well, a lot of people are buying products recklessly. You know, oh, ETB, oh, I'm going to try pre-order as much as I can. So they're going to try do it as heavy and as hard as they can. Now, if supply catches up, all these people who are spending heaps amounts of money are going to have all this product that, you know, will probably not rise in value for 4 to 5 years time if supply meets it. A lot of people are impatient. They're going to want to get those profits right away. They're going to sell it. They're going to sell at a loss. So we have to now kind of expect of what's going to happen when supply catches up. And I also do think that we are in a huge hype period. Overconfidence is massive, but more so you do have the hype beasts within this hobby, okay? You know, I've been a Pokemon fan since I was 4 years old, played every game. I understand Pokemon quite well. You know, I've got a pretty big confidence with my knowledge around Pokemon cards, the games. You know, I even play the competitive VGC scene. I do enjoy the game a lot. You're going to get all these people who are coming into the hobby who are not genuine fans, okay? Or who don't have a genuine interest in Pokemon. Now, they're buying these things thinking they're going to make huge profits, thinking they can flip and all this. But once they leave, that's when it kind of goes back down to the real fans in the hobby. Kind of what happened when Scarlet and Violet base kind of released in 2023 and during that Paldea Evolved kind of period, right? Obsidian Flames. You kind of had everyone who entered the hobby from 2021 and 2022 kind of dwindle away. And that Scarlet and Violet base period, Paldea Evolved timeline, that was really when just people who loved collecting Pokemon cards again. Then when Pokemon 151 released, that's when all those older fans who got interest kind of got reintroduced into the hobby. And right now we've got a bigger surge of people coming in. So what's going to happen is there's obviously going to be a few boring sets, a few things aren't that interesting. A lot of these people who have come in are going to kind of fizzle out. And then one day when cards are rising again, maybe it'll be the 30th anniversary, you're going to get a lot more people to enter the hobby. The reason I'm telling you this is because I've obviously seen a few hype periods within this hobby. I saw, you know, the vintage boom. I saw the Japanese female trainer card phase, right? Where, you know, everyone wanted to buy Japanese female trainer cards. That was lasting throughout 2023. Mid 2023, they were selling for some crazy prices, right? Right now, I mean, the Miriam Full Art was selling for like $1,000 in PSA 10. Right now, the most recently sold price for that was $50. Problem is when we're in these periods, it can be a little bit of, everyone can get a little bit of a whirlwind, okay? They cannot see clearly. They don't have that clear vision of what's happening. I'm probably going to say that Prismatic Evolutions, it's very likely that it's going to be hard to get that set. I even think if Pokemon prints it and prints it and prints it, I just think there's too much demand right now for them to even match that. But I do think, you know, that Team Rocket set that's coming out, is Pokemon going to want to have another situation where they cannot meet demand? I think they're going to really configure and recalibrate and think of what their next action is to take to meet the demand. You know, Pokemon continue printing these products, but you know, Crown Zenith was a very hyped set, but Pokemon just printed that literally. They just had an infinite printer going on for Crown Zenith, and thankfully they did, because everyone could get Crown Zenith at retail price. But now it's been 2 years since Crown Zenith, and we can see some sort of little price increases happening. Very interesting things happening. I do think that overconfidence right now is very high, but I do think a very high market pullback is going to come, and it's pretty much inevitable. Though as exciting as it is, I do think a lot of people are also going to leave the hobby, a little bit of a natural progression, especially if people cannot get product. They kind of get sick of it, right? You're just like, ugh, it was fun while it lasted, but I can't get any products, I'm gonna leave. Then the kind of supply will meet up and everyone can buy their products, and then once that leaves, it's kind of gonna get better and better and better for a lot of people. But I do think a lot of positives are happening in this hobby as well, and while there's a lot of this ranting and a lot of people getting upset and all these things will get better, and you're just gonna have to wait for it to see once it gets better, because I can assure you that this kind of hype train and hype momentum won't last forever. We've seen it before. They do kind of end up fizzling out and dying out a little bit. I think this is all well and truly going to change the hobby, and of course, hey, I may be wrong, though. If you're new to Pokemon investing or collecting Pokemon cards, then one area is to ensure you don't overspend. And I think the biggest reason people overspend is because they don't know the common mistakes within the hobby, and those 4 common mistakes can be seen right here. Within this video that's appearing on screen right now, I look over the 4 costly Pokemon investing and collecting mistakes that can be avoided. So definitely feel free to click on that video that's appearing on screen and we'll talk more about it there.